Welcome to Have You Read It, the channel where we bring books to life, one summary at a time. Whether you're here for self-help, personal growth, or business inspiration, there's something for everyone. Today, we're diving into The Startup Owner's Manual by Steve Blank and Bob Dorf, a comprehensive guide for building a successful startup. This book isn't just another motivational read, it's a practical, step-by-step manual packed with tools, techniques, and real-world examples to help aspiring entrepreneurs navigate the challenging journey of launching a new venture. So, grab your entrepreneurial hats and let's get started. The core message of the Startup Owner's Manual is simple yet profound. Startups are not smaller versions of large companies. This seemingly obvious statement has huge implications for how we approach building new businesses. Large companies execute existing business models, focusing on known customers, established markets, and predictable product features. Startups, on the other hand, search for a repeatable and scalable business model. They operate in a world of unknowns, constantly testing assumptions, iterating on ideas, and pivoting when necessary. This fundamental difference requires a completely different set of tools, strategies, and mindsets. Blank and Dorf introduce the customer development process, a powerful methodology for navigating the uncertainties of the startup world. This process emphasizes getting out of the building and talking to customers early and often. It's about turning assumptions into facts, validating hypotheses, and iteratively building a product that people actually want. This book stresses that the traditional business plan, a cornerstone of the old-school approach to starting a business, is essentially useless for startups. Blank and Dorf argue that no business plan survives first contact with customers. Instead, they advocate for using a business model canvas, a flexible one-page document that outlines the key components of a business. The canvas serves as a scorecard for tracking progress, visualizing changes, and facilitating pivots. The business model canvas helps startups stay agile and responsive to customer feedback. The customer development process is broken down into 4 steps: customer discovery, customer validation, customer creation, and company building. Customer discovery is all about understanding the customer problem. It involves getting out of the building, talking to potential customers, and testing assumptions about their needs and pain points. It's not about selling the product, but about understanding the problem deeply. It's also about testing the proposed solution. Does the product, even in its early minimally viable form, address the customer problem in a compelling way? This stage emphasizes learning, iterating, and pivoting based on customer feedback. Customer validation focuses on testing the business model. Can the company acquire customers cost-effectively? Is there a repeatable sales process? Can the business scale? This step involves making early sales to visionary customers, called early evangelists, who are willing to take a risk on an unfinished product. The book devotes considerable attention to this, with examples from the author's experience selling enterprise software, as well as from several successful avatar and virtual world companies. Customer creation is about scaling the business. Once the business model has been validated, the company can start spending money on marketing and sales to acquire customers at scale. This stage is about execution, building a sales and marketing machine, and rapidly growing the customer base. Company building is the final step. The startup transitions from a temporary organization searching for a business model to a company focused on executing a validated model. This often means pivoting from a flat, customer development-focused organization to a hierarchical, function-driven company with departments like sales, marketing, and business development. Blank and Dorf outline several key principles for startup success, which they call the Customer Development Manifesto. These principles emphasize the importance of getting outside the building, pairing customer development with agile development, embracing failure as a learning opportunity, making continuous iterations and pivots, using a business model canvas, designing experiments to test hypotheses, understanding market type, using startup metrics, making fast decisions, fostering passion, and ensuring buy-in from the team and investors. These principles form a foundation for the customer development methodology. One of the core concepts in the book is the idea of a minimum viable product. This is a stripped-down version of the product with just enough features to attract early evangelists and generate valuable customer feedback. The MVP is not about building a perfect product, but about learning as quickly as possible what customers want. This concept emphasizes iterative development, constant refinement, and minimizing wasted time and resources. The book also stresses the importance of understanding market type. Startups can enter existing markets, resegmented markets, new markets, or clone existing business models from other countries. Each market type requires a different approach to customer development, marketing, and sales. This insight is essential for tailoring strategies and maximizing chances of success. Throughout the Startup Owner's Manual, the authors emphasize the importance of metrics. Traditional business metrics like profit and loss statements are not relevant for early-stage startups. Instead, startups should focus on metrics that measure progress toward validating the business model. These metrics might include customer acquisition cost, customer lifetime value, viral coefficient, and activation rate. The book provides detailed guidance on how to conduct customer interviews, design experiments, analyze data, and make informed decisions about pivoting or proceeding. It also offers practical advice on building a team, managing cash flow, and navigating the challenges of fundraising. Blank and Dorf also address the nuances of web-mobile startups. The explosion in web and mobile applications over the past decade has made startups less costly and created an entirely new, often faster, distribution channel for them. For example, they offer specific guidance on building a web-mobile MVP, developing an online marketing strategy, and measuring web-mobile metrics. In the web-mobile channel, speed matters, and companies need to iterate more rapidly than their counterparts in the physical world. This book isn't just theory. It's filled with real-world examples, case studies, checklists, and templates to help entrepreneurs put the customer development process into practice. The authors share their own experiences, both successes and failures, and draw on the lessons learned by countless other startups. So, what are the main takeaways and heuristics from the Startup Owner's Manual? Startups are not small versions of large companies. They require a different approach to building a business. The customer development process is a powerful methodology for navigating the uncertainties of the startup world. Get out of the building and talk to customers early and often. Use a business model canvas instead of a traditional business plan. Build a minimum viable product to test assumptions and gather feedback. Understand your market type and tailor your strategy accordingly. Focus on startup metrics, not traditional business metrics. Embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Iterate and pivot quickly based on customer feedback. Ensure buy-in from the team and investors. Thanks for watching. Have you read it? Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next book dive.